So I'm sitting in one of my favorite spots, and it's like every time I think about sitting in this spot, I can hear God louder. So there's something about spiritually this area right here that keeps me more in alignment with God. So I have juice, y'all. Drink some juice. So I was sitting here a second ago and I heard it's all a checkpoint. And I realized that when we're going through life trying to achieve, I don't like the word achieve anymore because it's always tied to what works rather than what is serving us. Everything serves us still. So when we say achieve, we tend to devalue what the system say um, don't work. So I don't like that word achieve, but I'll say it for everybody. Achieve. Um, when we are trying to achieve something, we often think, okay, y'all, we often think that when we reach certain parts of the journey, if the journey doesn't give us what we're told we're supposed to get or what we think we're supposed to get, that we didn't achieve, that we're falling behind. But really, it's just a checkpoint. You know, every checkpoint in your life is not always going to be bright, it's not always going to be colorful. Sometimes that dark and that shadow is actually really necessary. We have to still see that it's still as much as a checkpoint as the ones that we really naturally can love. Like everybody can love the light. I don't know people who don't love the light. Even blind people like light in their mind and their eyes. But I think we're really taking for granted um, this type of lighting. See this type of lighting? This is not bright, but this is still a checkpoint. I sit here and I still hear God louder. I still hear God as loud as I hear God when I'm sitting in the grass directly under the sun. I think I think this obsession in the non-traditional spiritual world with light, 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 sun, 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 I think it's actually causing people to have fatigue, anxiety, and actually burnout. Because we know that we don't like to waste the sun and the light. We know that when we get a lot of sun, we say, oh, I can work harder now. Oh, I can think deeper now. I can be wiser because I got more light. But you can get all that still in the shadows. We know this from people who have been in jail, who have literally wrote bestsellers and they're sitting in the little jail stone cell with with a little hanging light bulb around them. So if they could do it, and some of us still haven't achieved what we wanted to achieve, but yet there's people in jail doing it. What does that tell you? Okay, that we on the outside, we're thinking that it has to be perfect environments, that we have to have the perfect um, setup and connections to get things done. No, we don't. You know, I got a scripture today. Hi, everybody. I don't know why a lot of y'all are not seeing this video. I have no idea why. Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back in a second. Okay, so this is so weird that a lot of y'all are not seeing this video, but it doesn't even matter because the creator told me to keep the channel, but just pretty much don't make this my number one priority. Okay? I can keep this channel, but I just can't put this above my other stuff. I did get some writing done, so I'll talk to y'all for a minute. I'm really just surprised. I mean, I guess a lot of people are just, I don't know, already on other people's videos. You know what gets me is that the society is always thinking the grass is greener. People are just hopping around. Like I know when I meet someone who has helped me energetically and emotionally in some way, I make sure that I keep them on my notification. I make sure that I'm able to continue to connect with them. I don't run back and forth. You know, I find it all the back and forth going is keeping people from getting to further checkpoints. Okay, y'all. I think that's what's happening. Like, okay, so some people will get to a certain checkpoint in their journey, but then they'll get set back. You know, they'll get back to a different checkpoint that they pretty much was at, but it's all because of the grass is greener mindset. There is no greener grass, y'all. Like there is no greener grass. Everything comes with shadow. You know, you're not going to get a person who's less shadow than the other person. It's just that whatever they're dealing with, you're willing to accept. So the other word I got when I sat under the tree today was accept. Okay. If you haven't accepted it, it's because you know that it's a threat to you feeling free. It's a threat to you feeling a, more free. It's chipping away from that feeling. So of course you're going to be like, I'm gonna pull some of my energy back from that. Okay. But understand that even if you pull your energy back from that checkpoint because you feel like it keeps you a little bit more stuck than the last one, don't undervalue that checkpoint. Okay. Like once you say everything is working for me in some way, everything is serving me in some way, nothing is wasted, like Oprah say, it gets really easy to continue the journey. Okay, you just got to look for what you can work within it, but don't get comfortable with having majority not usable. I'm not saying doesn't work for you, not usable. Don't get comfortable with most of it being unusable for you because then you're getting into slave mentality. Okay, so I got another kind of mini download energetically and mentally about slave mentality. And then when I looked at the scriptures, and I'm not talking angel numbers, when I looked at my journal, it had scriptures in it. And I opened the book, the scripture about slave mentality was in here. And one thing I found out is if something is not helping you to move forward or to grow, like you're not seeing much results or it's not consistent, and you keep doing it, then you're in slave mentality. Okay? So let me say this again. If there is something that you know is slowing you down or it keeps giving you setbacks or it's a very, very extremely slow growth and you keep on putting all your energy into it, then you're actually in slave mentality. Okay? So that's what I want to talk about in this video for those of you who still have me on notification. I got my little juice here. Yeah, that's right. Do you know that everything can be transmuted to become usable? Like that's like really deep though, y'all. That's really deep. Okay? Do y'all know that the narcissist knows this? Do y'all know that? Like empaths, I don't know why we don't know this. That you can transmute anything and make it usable. Like fights, violence, even like say you got in a violent fight with somebody, you can transmute that. Say you said something that didn't make sense, you could transmute that. Say you did some art that you thought wasn't good, you can transmute that. Like everything can literally be transmuted so you can use in some way. But we don't value transformation like we say we do. We like people in the world tend to value transformation only that they see somebody else did and got rewards rather than experimental transformation. Where let's like let me just see what become of this experimental transformation. Do you know that's how the icebox cooling system was invented? We wouldn't even have the cooling part of our icebox if somebody wasn't doing experimental transformation of some chemicals that they had. Yeah, they do, y'all. It hit me. It hit me, y'all. It hit me. Like, how did I be under such deep mind control of the narcissist? And I said, because they know how to literally take everything I say, transmute it, flip it on its head, warp it, distort it. They know how to do that. Like, literally. They are destroyers and fixers, but fixing to serve themselves primarily, and less serving you. It's just their motivation behind why they keep transmuting everything is wicked. It's not energetically healthy for you. But they still are really good at doing that. And it's like a superpower of theirs. I think they spend a lot of time thinking about things that they've gone through and people that they met, and finding and studying it, and finding ways to um, transmute it and transform it. Okay, I think that we need to get in that type of energy, and then I think that nuggets will come. Some sort of abundance will come in, like in that whatever that is that we thought we couldn't, wasn't serving us. Okay, like I remember when I cleaned out my daughter's room and I started looking at some of the stuff she had in there. And I'm like, wow, she's like literally in here. She was literally in here changing everything she could change at the moment. It's not that you can't change it, it's that you don't have the ideas or the little bit of instructions to transmute it. But it doesn't mean it can't be transmuted. It doesn't mean it can't be transformed. It still can be transformed. The point is, we don't have any patience for the step that comes before transmuting it, where we have to just stare and study it, or think about it. We're like, well, if it doesn't come right away, then obviously it's not working. Goes in the trash, and that, see right there, that's not. Narcissists don't do that. Okay, why you think they don't trash everybody? They just put everybody aside. Okay, they just put all their fuel aside for the moment, but they don't throw nobody away. Okay, because they know that every single person in every relationship, every activity can actually be transmuted and transformed to work in their favor. They just choose to make it work a lot in their favor. Okay, that's it. When you have a slave mentality, you are thinking that there's no way. I'm stuck. I'm in bondage. There's no way. That's what you're thinking. You're saying, um, I can't transmute this. I have to have it new. I have to have everything brand new like the master have. Okay? And it doesn't matter what master your ancestors had, because almost every race has ancestors that were a slave. But when you're in slave mentality, like old slave mentality, where you're under slave mentality mind control, you think that there's nothing you could do with what you got to get something better. You that will better work for you. You think that that's not possible. So you just accept the hardened bread. You just accept the little scraps. Okay? Oh, hold on. I'll be back in 1 second, y'all. We're going to take a brief break. Don't go nowhere. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so they'll call back, but here we go. We back. Slave mentality makes you think that someone else has to be under control of you for you to make it. That somebody else has to do the transmuting and the transformation in order for you to get to the next checkpoint. That is slave mentality. Okay? To think that you have a limited connection to God because you don't have as much people on your side. That's slave mentality. Slave mentality is thinking that whatever's out here in nature is not available to you. That if you go after it, something's going to happen to you. That you're not going to make it out here. Slave mentality makes you too comfortable with you know is not usable and you know that doesn't respect you. Okay? This is the y'all, this is a whole scripture today. And the thing is the devil, the narcissist, they really don't have slave mentality. I know some of y'all think they do because some of them be, you say, oh, they work their 9 to 5. But if you notice, they're always like, I can get higher in the job. I can get higher than that. I can get better than this. Even if I got everything outside of me serving me, I can do better than this. The thing about the difference just between them and you is they don't care how they go about it. That's the only difference. But if you don't have the mindset that I shouldn't get so comfortable with expired things. Everything expires. Do you know that you expire? Your body expires. Okay. It might take things longer to expire, but it does. But the wicked people are not comfortable with expired things looking and being expired right in front of their face. They're not. They may not do all the work to get something that better serves them, but they ain't comfortable with it. I know narcissists that will be nicer to anybody and everybody who can give them something better than they have right now. Okay, I have family members who's narcissistic come to my house, and that's their mindset. The thing is, you can have the mindset, you just can't have the toxic negative motives that they have. But you do get to say, I choose you as a friend because you can serve me and you're usable. And I'm not saying usable the way we have been programmed to think usable. Like, oh, you're just trying to use somebody, you're just only in it for yourself. No, I'm not talking about that usable. I'm talking about it actually, I can actually use something that they're bringing to me. Or whatever they bring it to me, I am compelled to figure out how to make it work for me. But I chose this person for that reason. I chose this person for that reason. Because it doesn't matter how much they put a smile on my face or make me feel good, I still have a mission to do. And if they don't cater to that mission, then they're for somebody else's mission. They ain't for mine. If I can't get it to cater to my mission, if I can't get it to be usable for my mission, then they just ain't for me. It really doesn't matter if they put a smile on my face. I can get a smile on my face anywhere. But the slaves of the old days, they wasn't thinking like this. They wasn't thinking about this. They wasn't thinking that this slave master, this ain't a two-way street. Like, they weren't realizing it wasn't a two-way street. They were like, okay, whatever he's willing to give me that I could use a little bit, I'm good with. But they didn't realize that there's always something more usable. And it's not about it being the grass is greener. You know how people say grass is greener, like I'm happier there. I'm talking about what you can use. Okay, look, I'm gonna just tell y'all the cold hard truth. Cold hard truth, some of y'all may not know. Everything's a product. Okay? A product of a product. Everything, your product, everything's a product of a product. This shelter is a product. This grass is a product of somebody putting seeds down, and seeds was a product of whatever created the seeds. Product upon product upon product. This is a whole entire product world. And the thing is every day is really nothing but a shopping spree. But what you shop, why you're going through your day to shop matters. Okay? The slaves was not seeing that. They were confined to just the house, the field, the house, the field. They did not go further to shop. Okay, when the creator tells you to go on an adventure, the creator is saying shopping. The creator is not saying go spend your money necessarily, but go shop for all parts of you, spend mind, body, and soul. But the slaves, they weren't shopping really for their mind. Okay, they were missing certain shopping sprees in their day. They was like, I'm only shopping for what the master leave out for the dogs, me and the dogs. I'm only shopping for I'm only shopping for what's in the garbage can. That's what the slave mentality was like. I'm only shopping for whatever I won't get beaten to have. Okay? That's what they were shopping for. What they was not shopping for is spiritual freedom and putting and seeing that was like super important. It was just as important for body nourishment shopping. But they didn't realize that until the creator forced them to realize it. See, when you don't realize that spiritual shopping is just as significant for body shopping, the creator will show you that it is. The creator will allow certain things happen in your life to remind you that it is. Then when you go days and you like, I don't need my scriptures. I don't need stillness when I'm supposed to have stillness. When you say that, when you say I'm just being rather than I'm spiritually shopping right now. Because anybody could just be. Narcissists will just be. They will lay there. Wicked people will just lay there. That's just being. But why are you being? Are you shopping? You should be spiritually shopping. The thing is that when you're in slave mentality, you don't put that as a priority. You're just in grinding. I'm grinding to get a little bit of something that's usable for me, while someone else gets the big part of it. But once you glamorize spiritual shopping, you won't even need answers. All this going here and here and here to get answers, you won't need it because it will come naturally, energetically, intuitively to you. You will just be like compelled to do this and not do that and not do this. Whenever I skip spiritual shopping in the first couple days, a couple hours of my day, I notice energetically I go downhill really fast at some point. It doesn't matter how much fasting I did. It doesn't matter how much food, how much YouTube surfing I did. I noticed that the temptation to make bad decisions for myself that will harm me, it gets harder to resist and it gets louder. The temptation. Okay? I spiritually shop just like y'all. Just because I'm in here helping y'all don't mean I don't shop. I shop every morning. Okay? And I find that just talking about your problems is not spiritually shopping. I find that still kind of could be passive slave mentality. In the old days, the slaves would sit around and just talk about the master. Talk about how the master and his wife is toxic or how their employer is toxic. But that's still slave mentality. Okay? When you think free, you're like, I have to transmute this because I'm chosen to uplift spirits of the world, even through my suffering. Talking about it ain't doing it. Like, it just talking about it is not doing it. I have to put it out in the world in a way that it becomes spiritually compelling and inspiring and creatively generating. I have to put it out in that way. Otherwise, I'm still like a low-key slave just complaining about master. This is why I have a trouble hanging out with people, because when I hang out with people and I say, well, we should write a book about this or we should do a record about this, they say no, but they want to just keep talking about it. And I look at them and say, well, now you're in slave mentality. And you don't even realize it. You think because you're wearing nice clothes and nice shoes and you're driving a nice car that you're not still a slave. You're literally a slave of dwelling on something that somebody did to you and not transmuting it. So I find that I want to talk to serve and serve myself and serve others, or I don't see the point. Okay, I don't see the point in doing it. Some of y'all will already have nuggets coming in on a regular. If y'all would take these things y'all saying in the comments and go out there and see how you can make it usable. Okay? Stop letting people tell you what's usable. Stop letting your 9 to 5 job say this is what's usable and that's it. Stop letting your family tell you what's usable. What's usable is what you have experienced and what you know and what you think you know other people have experienced. What you dream experiences. Your dreams is still experiences. So those dreams and daydreams is other lives that you're living. That that is what's usable. That's the adventure. But if it's just staying here and not going forward, not going yonder, then you're still in slave mentality. You're keeping it in slave. You're in slave mentality. If I don't go beyond YouTube, if I don't go beyond the same groups I go to every day, listening to the same people, okay, I have to transmute that further. I can't just say I shared my poetry in this group and that's it. I got to keep it moving forward. I got to keep it in motion. Otherwise, I'm like, I'm putting myself in bondage. If I get too comfortable with the familiarity with familiar, I'm literally in bondage. Energetically. Hi, everybody. Like, for example, it doesn't help for me to I just looked at the wall, y'all, and I seen 7+1 up there. But anyway, that's number 8. That's a synchronicity. But it doesn't help for me to sit in my house and talk to y'all. Y'all can't pick up the vibration of this world out here. We all have been in our homes too much. Let me tell you, being in your house all day is bondage. I don't care what you're doing there. If it wasn't bondage, if it wasn't slave mentality, then why do disabled people in hospitals still be taken places? Why are 90-year-old people still getting on buses to go to the casino? I mean, I'm just saying, why is 90-year-old people still getting with their walkers, getting on buses to go to the opera, to go to the park, to go to the harvest festival? Because anything that keeps you sheltered for long becomes bondage. Okay? So, for me, my exercises today is to remember some things about self-care that I may have not been doing that is actually keeping me in bondage and I'm in denial. Okay? A little bit in bondage. Okay? So I realized for me, being an indoor person the indoor bondage has a really bad effect on my life. Really, really bad. The longer I'm in it, the worse my life gets. Being around people who are too scared to go into the unknown keeps me in bondage. And the more I be around those people, the worse the bondage gets. So I think that getting out of slave mentality, you do have to go. You do if you're not sure if you're in slave mentality, if you're not putting yourself in it, you have to go and do soul reflection. You have to travel back. Sometimes you got to journey backwards and literally go actually to your childhood places and literally sit there and maybe go through forward in your mind and take note of what it is you are not transmuting anymore in your life. What it is you abandoned that actually the abandonment actually puts you deeper into some bondage. Okay? Like for me, when I was in a sense of being back in the day where I was just like, you know, money's good, but money is not the answer to all my dreams. You know, my power inside is. When I was in that mindset, for me, everything just kind of cleaned itself. Okay, if I needed a job, I got a job. If I needed um, if I needed some me time, God gave it to me. Now it may be different for you. Maybe you are using the power within you, but you're letting someone keep running off with it. Someone keeps taking it. Someone keeps corrupting it. For me, I was like not using the power within me, and I was letting someone else just be all the power in my life. Old traditions, old customs, old friends, even old exes were still able to influence me based upon their own personal experiences. So I was not accessing the power within me, running to that first. I noticed that when I do that now, when I have more days, I'm doing that. The very next day or a couple hours later, all of a sudden I have this superpower in something that I'm chosen to do. All of a sudden, I'm being very creative. For me, I have to trust the power of myself. I'm really good at protecting it once I access it. My problem is going to it first. Okay, regardless if people think I don't look it, regardless if people think I'm too old to have that power, regardless if people think that I'm living in a place where I can't have that power, I don't care. Because I can remember a time that I was living in a basement apartment and I was still celebrating that power within me. None of us have to be where we are. You don't have to be where you are. You don't have to talk to who you want to talk to. Everything you're doing is a choice. All this generation Z stuff where I'm being forced into this, actually no you're not. No you don't. It's your whole interpretation of what's free. Your whole perspective of what's free is determining why you are staying in that situation. There's homeless people that will tell you, I feel free. I don't feel the way you do. But why is that? Because they're not chasing what you're chasing. They're not going on the adventures that you're going on. They're not glamorizing what you're glamorizing. Home is just a place for sleeping and all. But home is a getaway place for you. Home is a sanctuary before this one. When homeless people, this is what they know. They know this all day long. All day long. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how free you would feel? I'm just saying. But you're up. Freedom is a matter of perspective. So you can override me and say, well, that's you, Miss V. Okay, good. But when I complain less than you complain, that's why. Because my mentality is not of the slave that I need masses hand-built land and masses expensive property. What I need is a place that makes me feel like I can stay clean, be clean longer, and be at peace longer. And I can always do that out here. I can have all that right here. And if I can't have it right here, then I need to get a place outdoors that will give it to me and a place indoors that will give it to me. It's not about my neighbors. It's about what's coming in and out of my home as well. If that is the peace support system for this support system. Y'all know when the weeks start to decline, I start to get deep on the platforms. You know, that's why I tell y'all, some of y'all, make sure y'all meet with me Friday, Thursday through the weekends, because that's when I start going in harder to talk to y'all about stuff. It seemed like the creators start to help us more and more and more as the week decline, because it gets harder for some of us spiritually, since we're home. We can't run away from what's making us feel like crap. You can hide behind your 9 to 5 job and pretend that your family, that whatever, and that your health is not making you feel like crap. You can hide behind that. But as the week declines, it all starts to get right up in your face again. And I think that by the end of the week, especially minorities need to sit down and really do some deep thinking about slave mentality. Okay? If you think having everything that the massa have is going to free you from slave mentality, then you're living in delusions. I can remember I felt more free than I felt over the last few years. I felt more free when I was outdoors all day and then all I had was 2 meals and some juice. I felt more free then. I felt more like I was rich, even though I couldn't really prove it physically. I knew that I was. I had less things to worry about that I really was choosing to worry about when I didn't have to worry about them. Like, you really, I saw a video this morning where this guy said credit cards gave me free money. And I said, technically, he's actually right. Like, do y'all realize that nobody can come for you in the grave? Nobody can wake you up in the grave and say, come out and pay these taxes. Nobody can wake you up in the grave and say, come and move this stuff out of your house. I mean, do y'all realize that the only reason why you think society has control over you is because you actually think that what you're doing is breaking the law when you're not. Like, the only control they have over you is when you break the law. That's it, y'all. That's really just it. You can always get another home. You can always live somewhere else. You can get another boo. You can get another diet. You can shop at a different store. You can use a different transportation, a bicycle, a scooter, whatever, skateboard. The point that I'm making is you're not really under their control, just with the law, with the criminal law, the legal system. That's it. Even if you die and people say, well, I'll pee on your name because you didn't pay this or you didn't do this and it wasn't the law, but still I'm going to go ahead and badmouth you. So what? You might still be in peace on the other side. The creator might have said, well, that's their problem. You ain't going to go through this now. You don't have to worry about what they're saying about you. And y'all was at Walmart yesterday. And when I tell you Walmart literally shouted in my face, have gratitude, I said, whoa, I hear you loud and clear. Walmart yesterday showed me just how lack of gratitude that we have when we're shopping. Just how we are always chasing something better, what we think is better, what we think is what we think we need to have because everybody else have it. When I saw all those bear owls, when I saw all the meat and chicken not there, when I saw no salmon, no haddock, no pollock, no shrimp, when I saw no beef, when I saw no pork, when I saw no steak, I felt a panic energy, even though I don't even really eat that stuff. And that hit me because we don't realize that abundance is abundance. Like, if we eat tuna, it's abundant. Like, what do we need such variety just to say we're abundant? I have a sister who has this way of always attracting